The Disney animators knew that somehow they had to capture the personality and character of Pocahontas. Animator Glenn Keane traveled to Virginia to absorb the ambiance of the actual location of the story.
At the early stage, you have to find something that's going to inspire you. In the case of Pocahontas, I thought, I need to go to Jamestown. I need to go to Jamestown to experience whatever might happen. So I went down there, and I remember walking around out in the woods, picturing, maybe it was right under these trees here that John Smith was waiting for Pocahontas.
The more they learned, the more Pocahontas' story captivated the imaginations of the Disney filmmakers. But to make the characters completely believable, they had to find the right actors to provide the characters' voices. While the animators could capture the image of the characters, the actors had to capture their spirit. If you walk the footsteps of a stranger, you'll learn things you never knew you never knew. That's one of lyricist Stephen Schwartz's favorite lines from The Colors of the Wind, one of the new songs written by him and composer Alan Menken for the film Pocahontas. That line is really at the heart of the film because it means that if you try to see things from someone else's point of view, you will gain a great wisdom and a deep understanding of others. When actors are asked to perform a character voice in a Disney animated film, they're not being asked to merely read words. They are being asked to totally focus their acting talents on bringing their particular character to life. And when an actor really gets under the skin of his character, he may learn things he never knew he never knew.
It's a good deal more complicated than I would have imagined. It's all just a process of like experimentation and so on. They have a pretty clear idea of what they want when they come in, and they communicate that to me as an actor as best they could. It's like cutting off some of your senses and just using one aspect of yourself, and you have to use a lot more imagination. There's a world of possibilities there in animation that don't exist elsewhere. And they're all at someone's fingertips.
Flit, he's back. Come on, Miko.
I loved my role as the speaking voice of Pocahontas. I think the story of Pocahontas is one of the most beautiful love stories ever told.
She brought a depth to the performance of Pocahontas that is different than, say, with Ariel or Jasmine or Belle. Pocahontas is more of a woman instead of a teenager. And there's got to be sincerity and nobility in the way she speaks.
This is how we say hello. Wingapo.
Like everything else in this picture, less is more. And Irene gave a performance that was very controlled and confident. It fit perfectly with Pocahontas.
Another voice fit perfectly with Pocahontas as well. The beautiful singing voice of Judy Kuhn.
I guess I didn't realize what incredibly complicated and painstaking process it is and how many layers there are as the thing evolves. You know, I guess maybe I thought I'd just go into the studio and sing a song and that would be the end of that, but it's more complicated and involved than that, and it's a much bigger challenge than that.
Actor David Ogden Stiers was challenged to play two parts.
Well, David is just a great actor. I mean, he not only plays Ratcliffe, he also plays his manservant, Wiggins. So we have recording sessions where he played both parts opposite himself.
I made it myself. Take that silly.
It's all focus and concentration. It was a little while before someone rather well placed at Disney did not know the other actor's voice. Knew that I was doing Ratcliffe, but wasn't sure who was playing Wiggins, and that's a slice of heaven.
When I see you wear that necklace, you look just like your mother.
I don't think there's anybody on the planet who could have given Powhatan's voice the warmth, the depth, and the scope than Russell Means. When we had him in to read a couple of lines for us, we were all blown away by the depth that he brought.
Whenever the wind moves through the trees, I feel her presence. I looked at Powhatan and at my own ancestors. in trying to capture his spirit, and I was able to identify with Powhatan and become part of him. It was actually very easy because he's my role model.
Hello, John Smith.
Pocahontas, that tree is talking to me.
Then you should talk back.
Casting the human
Don't be
characters was
frightened.
challenging enough, but how do you find someone to play a 400-year-old tree? Well, you find an Academy Award-winning actress named Linda Hunt.
We wanted a tree that sounded 400 years old, but with a great deal of liveliness. So she managed to do both of those things and give Grandmother Willow a humorous edge as well as being a spiritual guide for Pocahontas.
He has a good soul. And he's handsome, too.
Oh, I like her.
She knew exactly how to read each line. She had very strong opinions on it, and she was always dead on. She's just a tremendous actress.
They put hidden video cameras around the place and they catch you reading. And every now and then you catch, in the cartoon itself, you catch that they've stolen an expression off your face. You can see what they've done. It's very clever, very clever.
Watching a Disney animated film is like watching a magic trick. Audiences can get so absorbed in the movie that they actually begin to feel what the characters are feeling. Bringing a Disney animated feature to life takes a lot of talent and hard work, but there are a few secrets that we are about to discover. In the film, Pocahontas senses she's on the verge of a great personal discovery. She believes that something is waiting for her just around the river bend. Making a Disney animated feature is a journey filled with discovery for everyone. The artists, animators, and all the technicians who work behind the scenes. Each new film has its own unique set of challenges that must be overcome before the final product can be put before the public. There is no instruction manual on how to do it. Each project is a new experience. So, what is the secret? How do the Disney artists keep making such good movies?
And I think part of the magic of Disney animation is the fact that one goes through an evolutionary process of it doesn't work, 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 and finally it works, with changing it over and over again. I think the secret is being open to change. Never get married to your own ideas.
I can't draw without really feeling it and believing it. Eric Larson, one of the old timers in animation, kept saying to me, "Glenn, you've got to animate with sincerity." Okay, animate with sincerity. I put my pencil down the paper, and what does that mean? Do you press harder on the pencil? Do you grit your teeth more? I mean, what is sincerity? And as I listened to these guys talk about Pinocchio and Snow White, and I found out that they weren't referring to cartoon characters. These were real people that they knew. They just happened to be drawings. When I first started, I thought animation was about a lot of moving drawings. And I find that that's not what it's about. It's not about moving drawings. It's about drawings that move people.
Supervising animator John Pomeroy is a history buff who has done extensive reading about early America, including the actual autobiographical writings and journals of the real Captain John Smith.
It's the amount of substance that the animator will craft into the character. Sometimes it's obvious and sometimes it's hidden. But it radiates a certain spirit or life force that convinces the viewer that this two-dimensional artwork is alive, living, and breathing. Consequently, we get the audience to bite off on it, and we engage in that wonderful, willing suspension of disbelief.
The supervising animator for Governor Ratcliffe found a way to create personality from geometry.
Well, largely he's greedy and corrupt, and he sort of represents an effete aristocracy. So we translate those character traits into geometrical shapes, and that's basically how it arrives. In the earlier versions of Ratcliffe, he was much more pear-shaped. As we realized he was turning into more of a nasty villain in development, we raised his center of gravity to his chest, so he seems more pompous and nasty and arrogant and physically menacing.
We will eliminate these savages once and for all.